So every single fact you've stated in that comment is flawed, and I'm going to explain to you why. But first I'm going to start with how rare it is. It's not rare. So 0.5 to 5% of the population is not the statistic I have, but I'm going to use yours. And let's reduce it, actually. Let's land in the middle to 3%. So if we go to 3% of the population having MPD, and think of that as tiny, let's put it in context of something else, just to give it a reference. 4% of the population have anxiety. 3.8% of the population have depression. 3% of the population have green eyes. It's not actually as rare as you think. Then let's put it into different contexts, and 3 out of 100 people that you meet in your lifetime, of all the people that you ever interact with, 3 out of 100 of those people will have MPD. That is starting to look a lot more frequent than teeny tiny rare condition. It's not that rare. But the reason that it's 0.5 to 5% and not actually a specific number like 4% for anxiety is simply on the basis that people with MPD do not put themselves in the way of being diagnosed, because they know what they're doing and they don't want to be called out, and they don't want to be held accountable, and they don't want to be told that they're wrong. And they also don't want to be the same as other people with MPD and a label attached to them, because they still want to be a special little sunbeam and consider themselves as the thing that everybody revolves around. However, then we go to your statistic about, of those identified as MPD, 75% are men, not mothers. Interestingly, you use the word mothers and not women. Interesting. Anywho, the reason that 75% are men is simply for two very, very, very easy facts. One, the men are the people who are more likely to commit the kind of crime that would put them in the place where they would have to be psychologically assessed, and therefore they get identified. Women, mothers, are unlikely to commit those sorts of crimes, and so therefore are not identified, because the other side of this is that men are socially acceptable as overt expressions of the traits of MPD, whereas women are more likely to be covert expressions of MPD. And the two diagnostic tools that we use, the DSM-5 and the ICD-11, do not make a huge provision for the covert expression of those traits. The DSM-5 had some introduced in, I think it was around 1980, I forget, maybe it was later actually, no. It was originally introduced in the DSM-3 in 1980, but either way, the DSM-5 did introduce the idea of covert expressions of traits, but they did not include a wide, comprehensive understanding of what that looks like. And the ICD-11, self-reported behaviour rather than observable behaviour, which is what the DSM-5 is. So, women are less likely to be diagnosed simply on the basis that they are more covertly expressive in their traits. And people do not misuse the word narcissist. What they do is misdiagnose or armchair diagnose people as having MPD. But everyone on this planet has narcissistic traits. But the question is, are they unhealthy or healthy traits? And are they actually, if they are unhealthy traits, are they so rigidly held as behaviour that they are across the diagnostic threshold or not? Someone could have very high narcissistic traits but not be diagnosable, absolutely. However, they will still be extremely toxic to be around and very, very difficult. So, as a personal note, if you've got this far, which I'm imagining you won't have done, on a personal note, you can change profiles, you can change names, you can keep harassing me, leaving comments, looking at me as to why I am the problem of your problems, the source of, your problems. Or you could stop for a moment and look within, and maybe the things that you're so unhappy with won't be as unhappy anymore. I don't know, up to you. Hope that helps. Take care.